Hello, I'm Tim, the Woodworking Maniac, and today I'm actually planning on building a rather large lumber rack because this isn't working. So the idea behind this lumber rack is actually to use this entire stack of lumber. It's a bunch of 2x4s in 3 different sizes. I've got some 10-footers, I've got some pre-cut 9-foot studs, and I've got some 8-footers. So I'm not going to have to do any cutting, and everything's just going to go together, and this thing's just going to go up. So this should happen pretty quick, and it's pretty simple. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do now, I've got a few pieces cut, and I am going to clamp this 2x4 down at the bottom. This is not a specific length or anything like that, it's just so I can get that 2x4 width thickness down here at the bottom. I'll do that on both sides. The rest of the stuff is just going to butt up to that, and we're just going to try to square it up as best we can and move on from there. So what I'm going to use here is a little bit of glue, because why not? And I'm using these 4-inch construction flags. Now these are Power Pro 5/16 inch by 4-inch construction lags. As you can see, that's going to go in there pretty far. So that's going to hold this board on here very well. And then there will actually be 2x4s supporting these 2x4s all the way across the other length. You'll see that a little bit later. But right now, I'm going to get this put in here, double check, make sure I'm still square. And I'm just going to give a small squirt of glue down here. Now we'll still use the spacer block down through here because the boards will have a bow in the middle, and I just want to keep it consistent. So what I'm going to do next is put this in here. I've got 2 12.5-inch spacers. That there, that there, and move on to our next 9-foot pre-cut. But this is the first of 5 uprights that I'll be building. So they will actually go up like this, and this will be the lumber rack, 8 feet long. That would be a pretty big one. Now to build 4 more of these. It's heavy, it's a lot to move. I have a bunch more braces to go across here. These are 8-footer braces, and they're gonna go under each rung all the way up. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 more to put on this side, and 7 to put on this side. Originally, I had designed this to where one would go underneath down below as well, but this floor is all kinds of wonky. So having a straight board going across there would not end up leveling out properly. So I'm going to use the actual feet as feet, but there'll be a rung all the way down here. So I don't think there's going to be any problem whatsoever. As of right now, I mean, it's standing strong enough that it would hold quite a bit, but we're going to strengthen it up a bit more with all those. And what I'm using to connect these, because we're doing side to side, that only leaves 3 inches. So I've got 3-inch lag screws for that. So for the fronts, we've got 4-inch lag screws going in. So they're getting a lot of depth there. And then for the sides, we're getting 3 inches, which so here we go. It is up and it's starting to hold some lumber. I do have quite a bit more lumber to put on here. I started loading things up, and I'm actually going to change it around because I had the idea of putting my 10-foot stock on this side where I'm not really walking around that often anyway, but that is the door over there that I offload from. So I've decided I'll probably put 8-foot stock on this side since I made this 8 foot deep, and that'll give me more floor space and walking room in general. And I'll put all the 10-foot stock on this side, which is completely out of the way. And then my longer stock, which I have some 12-foot boards above my head here, that will just go higher. And I'll be able to walk underneath of it. It'll be completely out of the way. I originally designed this to be 10 foot long, and there was going to be one more upright that sat out a little further. But after thinking about it, most of the material that I get is 8 foot long, and so I'd be building it and just having room for that to move around, and it would be utilizing a full 10-foot floor space. By doing this, it's only utilizing an 8-foot floor space, but it has the ability to have 10-foot lumber just go a little further along. And that's not going to be any problem whatsoever as far as the support for the lumber itself. It can handle it. It can handle 12-footers just fine. I've got it set to handle sheet goods in between here, so each of these racks can hold sheet goods, doesn't have to. I don't work with a whole lot of sheet goods, so I'll probably only use 1 or 2, maybe even 3 of these for sheet goods in general. But I made it to where it's got 49.5 inches between each upright, allowing room to get the sheet goods in. Even with like MDF. MDF typically comes oversized by an inch, so it's actually 49 inches wide. I've got 1/4 inch sheet of MDF up here, and that gives me a 1/2 inch of wiggle room to fit that sheet good all the way in there. But if I hold sheet goods, that's fine. If I hold lumber, it's fine. This thing is solid as a rock, and this will be holding thousands of board feet of lumber. So it's a pretty good size, and you can scale it down to whatever size you need. But I'll put a drawing of this on as a download in the description down below. So if you want to build one yourself, go right ahead. But I appreciate you following along and hanging out with me while I build this thing. And there's going to be a lot more shop projects on this new space that I've got here coming along here in the future. So follow along, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it, and you all have a good day. God bless.